Hello everyone and welcome back to the GT Improvement channel. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and if this channel is helping you, please share this free resource with other service members who might also be looking to improve their GT. Alright, today we are going to do the second part of our fraction word problem practice worksheet. So this is part 34B. We already did the first 5 questions in the previous video, so if you haven't had a chance to do those, you might want to start with those first. Today we're going to do problems 6 through 10. So we're going to do each problem. Go ahead, pause your video, work it out, and then I'll show you how I worked it out. All right, so for number 6, it says health experts say that a 25-year-old male should eat 56 grams of protein in a day. So 25-year-old male, eat 56 grams of protein. A cup of crab meat contains 24 grams of protein. A cup of crab meat provides what fraction of the protein that a 25-year-old male should eat in a day? So again, this is kind of another wordy problem. I'm just going to make some notes off to the side. So it says that a 25-year-old should eat 56 grams of protein per day. And then it says 1 cup of crab meat is 24 grams of protein. And then it says a cup of crab meat, so that's this one right here, which is 24 grams, provides what fraction of the protein that a 25-year-old male should eat in a day? Well, a cup of crab meat provides 24 grams of protein. And then it says that they should be getting 56 grams per day. So they're getting 24 out of 56 grams per day. There's your fraction. Sorry, Alexa is excited. Now we have a fraction that can be reduced. So we could start by dividing these numbers in half. You could start by dividing by 2. So that would be 12 over 28. And then I see both of these are divisible by 4. So I'm going to divide those by 4. And that would be 3 over 7. And that can't be reduced any further. So your answer would be 3/7. Okay, go ahead and try number 7. All right, number 7 says Sid bought 4 3/5 yards of twine at the hardware store. He divided, keyword, the twine into 3 equal pieces. How long was each piece of twine? So this is pretty straightforward. We have 4 3/5 yards of twine. We're dividing it into 3 equal parts, so it would just be divided by 3. Now to solve division with fractions, and in this case we have a mixed number, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this guy to a fraction. That would be 3 over 1. And then to divide fractions, we need to change any mixed numbers into improper. And we use our around the world technique where we do 5 times 4, which is 20, plus 3, which would be 23. And that would be over 5, same denominator. And then the rule for dividing is keep, change, flip. So we are going to keep the first fraction exactly how it is and flip the second fraction to 1 over 3. Now when you're multiplying fractions, you always want to see if you can do any cross canceling. This case can't, so all we're going to do is top times top and bottom times bottom. And then most of the time the AFCT is probably going to ask you to put these improper into a mixed number format. So you would just change this. 15 goes into 23 one time. There is 8 left over, and denominator stays the same. And that can't be reduced any further. So your final answer would be 1 8/15. So each piece of twine is going to be 1 8/15 yard long. All right, go ahead and try number 8. All right, for this problem, it says, what is the combined weight of the ingredients in the recipe? So all we need to do is add these numbers up. So we have 1/4 pound of butter, 3/4 pounds of cooked rice, 3/4 pounds of chicken and 1 pound of frozen spinach. Now this isn't too bad because we've already got all the same denominators here, and since we're working with quarters, you might be able to do some of this in your head. So for example, I know that 1/4 plus 3/4 would be 1, and I know that 3/4 plus 1/4 would be 1 3/4. So this I can all easily do in my head. So your final answer would be 2 3/4. All right, that one's not too bad. Go ahead and try number 9. All right, number 9. It says the Robinson family spends 1/8 of its money on electricity, 1/6 of its money on transportation, and 3/8 of its money on rent. What fraction of the Robinsons' money is spent on electricity and rent? All right, so I'm going to make some notes here. So 1/8 is on electricity, 1/6 is on transportation, and 3/8 is on rent. And the question is, what fraction of the money is spent on electricity and rent? So we're concerned about these two, electricity and rent. We're not worried about transportation. So that's basically useless information. So all we're going to do is simply add these fractions together. So 1/8 plus 3/8, that's pretty easy. You already have a common denominator. That's going to be 4/8. And then you would just reduce that to 1/2. All right, go ahead and try number 10. All right, for number 10, it says Lauren baked 120 cookies. 1/3 of the cookies were chocolate chip, 1/4 were butter, and the rest were oatmeal. What was the total number of oatmeal cookies that Lauren baked? So in this problem, we're trying to figure out the specific number of oatmeal cookies that was baked. So we know that she's baked 120 cookies. We know that 1/3 of those were chocolate chip and 1/4 of those were butter. And the rest are oatmeal. A couple different ways that you could do this problem. What I chose to do is I figured out the specific number of the cookies that were chocolate chip and the specific number that were butter. And how I did that was I just did 1/3 of 120. So remember, if you have to figure out 1/3 of something, this is a really great trick. If you ever have to figure out 1/3 of something, like 120, all you have to do is divide this number, this 120, by 3. So 120 divided by 3 would be 40. So 40 of those cookies are chocolate chip. And I wanted to point out too, 1/3 of 120, remember, of translates to multiply. So another way you could figure out this situation is doing 1/3 of 120, and you simply multiply 1/3 times 120. And if you do that, you get, whoops, divided by 3, that's not 3, that would be 40. You would get 40. So you get the same answer. So remember, of means multiply. But if you ever have to figure out 1/3 of something, all you do is divide it by 3. Same scenario works here. If you had to do 1/4 of something, so 1/4 of 120, you would simply divide this number by 4, which would be 30. And it works out the same way. You could also do 1/4 times 120, divide that by 4, divide that by 4, you would also get 30. So either way, you're going to get the same answer, but that's a nice easy trick. Okay, so back to the problem. So we know 1/3 are chocolate chip, and that equates to 40 cookies. We know 1/4 of them are butter, which equates to 30 cookies. So 70 of these 120 cookies are these two kinds, and the rest are oatmeal. Then all you have to do is find the difference. 70 from 120 would be 50. Okay, Another way you could do this is you could add these fractions if you wanted to. You could do 1/3 plus 1/4. Find your common denominator, which would be 12 times 4 times 3, and then you would do it this way. I think this takes a little bit longer because I feel like I could have done all this in my head and it was a little bit easier steps. But in this situation, you could have done 7/12 of 120, and it's not too bad. You could reduce that and you would get 70. So 70 cookies are chocolate chip and butter, the rest are oatmeal. You would get the same answer. So like always, there's usually more than one way to solve these types of problems, but for me, I thought this was the easiest bet. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. Hope you get a little bit more practice with these fraction word problems. And if you have any comments about different ways you solved that you think were better, please comment down below, and I hope this video was helpful. All right, have a great day.